Okay, I want to welcome you guys to the latest Discord. Uh, the earlier one, we tried a different format and it didn't really work very well. So we reconfigured it and came up with the newest one. We'll put it in the link. And I just want to plug this Pro Mel game that the guys decided to make for themselves. Let's see a little of the action.
Can count on that.
This, it's funny. I've never played it myself, but I find it funny. Anyway, so I'll include that in in the description box. But in any event, I want to read our manifesto. Okay. Now let's see. Men are an oppressed underclass. This is an indisputable fact and is not up for debate. By all standards of social sciences, men are disadvantaged compared to women. True. Men live shorter, harsher, more violent lives. Women have far more rights than men. No amount of gaslighting by feminists can deflect from this fact. Men suffer from false consciousness, have no affinity as a group, and worse yet, harbor an innate hostility towards one another that perpetually cements them within their underclass position. Men also possess a nigh irrational love and adoration for women and have been proven to have an outgroup bias. 100% true. Since men like women more than they like their fellow men, that leads them to incessant pandering to women at the expense of their and other men's well-being. These factors contribute to men being a disorganized, segmented, marginalized group that are unable to rectify their oppressive social conditions, assuming that they bother to even acknowledge the existence of them in the first place. Right. Meanwhile, women are a highly organized upper class group in which feminism aim to further push the rule that they have over men through the orchestration of political campaigns and false narratives that aim to disparage, gaslight, and demonize the male party. The end goal, full systematic subjugation of the male population through legalized violence of government parties worldwide. Yeah, that's true. The UN is feminist run. Women have full spectrum social authoritative over the male underclass, and no other group has had as much political, social, and cultural dominion over another group of people in the course of human history. Fact. The current men's rights movement is basically dead. A novel could be written on all the mistakes that the old anti-feminist communities repeatedly make. Most people in men's rights spaces still believe in feminist concepts and consider the complete rejection of feminist ideas to be radical and extremist. Many men's rights activists are appeasers, cowards, and sellouts, if not just outright traitors to the male sex, since they undermine their own cause constantly. Current MRA spaces are full of constant concern trolling over MRA radicalism, while the enablement of feminist misandrist flourishes. And yes, most MRAs are tradcon feminist hybrids. I like that, because that description is very accurate. This cock-blocking behavior crushes the spirit of pro-male-minded men as they are banned, blocked, shunned, ignored, invalidated, and gaslighted from the space. That's true. Guys get tired of this. Any guy who wants to make real change, he gets fed up with that. He says, this is a waste of my time. These MR spaces are also invaded by racist reactionaries who will validate feminist rhetoric if directed towards an alien outgroup of men other than themselves. Happens on my channel all the time. The racists show up in my comment section, they get the boot, right? i.e., immigrants entering the country and raping and trafficking women. The old MRM is stale and worthless. Men need to create a true alternative to it. Men need to create a pro-male subculture that they need to secure that subculture for the sake of having one. As a pro-male subculture is worth having for its own sake. 100% true. 100% true. The pro-male subculture needs to promote pro-male ideology based on the foundation of evidence, logic, and on a consistent set of ethics. 100%. The pro-male subculture must encourage a healthy mindset in men, one based on self-respect, compassion, and care for their fellow man. Only a healthy pro-social subculture can fight back against feminist and tradcon control over the levers of power in society. Real-world activism is not going to work if men are unable to organize correctly in the online world. Fact. If you think organizing in the online world is a waste of time, just look how rapidly feminism changed the world's legal systems and dismantled due process for men by starting with the Me Too hashtag movement. Most guys will argue we don't want to do anything like this. Online won't change anything, right? But really, they're arguing for us to do nothing, right? One, men need to have the correct mindset. Most male spaces either obsessively spam out narratives based on male hostility, such as racism, left versus right, party politics, or attacking unmasculine men, or rant about women from a dating perspective. And if they are not talking about these subjects, then men lose interest and these spaces die off. Two, men need to be proactive. They must strive to propagate pro-male ideas, such as possible outside their own spaces. Video making is very important. If men are just hiding in safe spaces, their ideas will not spread. Anti-male narratives are pushed by AI algorithm-driven internet and spammed out by misinterest obsessively. Men must push back as much as possible to counter this. Men must be proactive in a correct way, be efficient and strategical. That's true. Like one of the recent videos by A Shield for Men, which documents all these women that commit violent acts. He said I had to search for them. They're buried. They exist, but they're buried. The AI algorithm is feminist controlled. Right? Men not only need to be proactive, they must be coordinated in their approach, using teamwork to signal boost each other. Coordination can be a force multiplier in online activism. Pro-male men must set up their own online pop culture spaces and gatekeep them. They must do this to encourage a healthy pro-male mindset within them and to gatekeep feminists out. Pro-male activism can't be just theory crafting. It has to offer real-world benefits to men. Having hobby spaces that aren't polluted by hostile, geeky men and man-hating feminists is something we can offer. 5, we must avoid becoming marginalizing subculture. To that end, we must avoid cult-like behavior and avoid using wacky terminology, such as black pill, red pill, manosphere language and rhetoric must be avoided. We are the normal ones. Our set of ethics are humane, rational, and consistent. Even though we are outnumbered, they're the ones who are abnormal. We must strive to make the good impression of ourselves since optics do count for us, as people are ready to dismiss us out of hand, so we can't give them the slightest excuse. Exactly. We need to be, what's that word I'm thinking of? Disciplined. That's the word. We have to be disciplined. Remember, in feminist spaces, the women there can spew the most evil, ridiculous banter they want. People just excuse it, right? You know, that's why men are an underclass. We don't have that ability, right? 6, we are a vanguard ideology and will remain so until we can wake enough men up. Well, we want to grow, we can't have bad growth, or we will be sucked into the black pill manosphere kookiness. We can't have affinity for the sake of affinity. Instead, we need pro-male affinity for the sake of pro-male affinity. We can't tolerate having bad, hostile, anti-male men in our spaces, as we are bigger danger to us than the feminist. We accept all men who are genuinely pro-male and reject all men who are not. Exactly. I've talked about this in videos. You know, the big tent does not work for the MRM. It doesn't. You know, we just get guys who end up hijacking. And that's why guys complain so much that I ban so much from my comment section. Because I can't follow their bullshit rules. I got to clear out the garbage. If I let these guys spam, they'll take over, right? Some strongman posturing and coping behavior must be discouraged. Strongman posturing is based on the delusional understanding of reality, and is coping behavior. Men do not want to do anything to fix the systematic problems they face, so they have to pretend they are winning. Other types of coping are used just to diffuse rightful anger, which is the motivating factor behind taking action. That's part of, you want to be moderate, dude. If you show rightful anger at, injustice, guys will call you an extremist. 8, we must reject feminism completely and utterly. Right, just like the civil rights movement rejected the KKK. Hate movements get rejected. We must reject the label completely. We must reject the ideology completely. We must reject all excuses given for why feminism was valid in the past, as all of them are based on the total lies or half-truths. For example, feminists claim women couldn't vote, but leave out the truth that working-class men also couldn't vote, and men had to sign up for military service to vote, and women had the powers that far outweighed the vote, like control over their husband's property and finances, and control over their children. Yes, the vote is a paper tiger next to that reality. We are not here to reform or redeem feminism. We are here to abolish it. We must move the Overton window so that it's acceptable to talk about banning and outlawing feminism. Talking about banning feminism shocks even the most MRAs. But in order for the future of the male population to prosper, to gain true equality and first-class citizenry, we must also take action as the pro-male collective. Wonderful. Fantastic manifesto. And one of the reasons why we speak about collective, actually there's 2 reasons. One, because you need collectivism to make something happen. Men cannot do anything as individuals. But to a lesser degree, it pisses off the trad cons, right? So anyway, we will end it here.